if you want to do some of this seated, so that's not a problem at all. But find your space. Let's have a go here, see if we can go on. So we're just jumping in there onto all the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram. So welcome, good morning. We're going to do some of our usual movement just to get the spine mobilized, get a little bit of blood flowing through the system, the energy flowing through the system. So we're going to start with our feet shoulder width apart, and just remembering that just make these movements comfortable for you. It's not about forcing, it's not about pushing, it's not about trying too hard. So we're just going to do some very gentle movement, rotation through the spine. And I want just to focus on the neck, so the neck and the upper back. So we're just looking sort of like 45 degrees. So just go with that, like 45 degrees. If you're sort of like in the center of a room and you've got corners of the room just to glance at, that's quite a nice way of doing this. Because what you might find is sometimes you're looking round further than one side or not moving the head to the other side. So just glancing to the corners of the room, if you can look at the corners of the room. And we're just breathing nice and easy. And what is good about just this gentle tapping on the lower back, I'm just going to whiz around and show you. If you're just getting that hand just tapping on the lower back, getting the blood flowing there. But again, nothing too hard, nothing that's creating any pain. And having said we're looking at the corner of the room, what I don't want you to do is lead with the head. So we're still moving from the hips and the waist, and the head is just following, but you're just glancing in the corner of the room. Also keeping that spine long, lengthening through the crown. And then gradually just slowing down into water waves. And here you just get that little bit of resistance, go nice and slow. See how slow you can make that movement. And then take a rest. Spinal cord breathing, so remember bending the knees a little bit. Remember we get that pelvis working, tilting forwards and backwards. When we do the opening up, rather than looking up on this one, I want you to keep that back of the neck long. So you're just keeping facing forward. So you're almost like getting that length at the back of the neck there. Again, really emphasizing that we're not forcing, don't think of this as a big stretch, just breathe through it, breathing in, and then this is where you can tuck the chin, tilting the pelvis underneath, opening up the chest. Just think of it as moving the spine, getting that spine moving. So you've got all of the central nervous system coming through the spine. Let's do a couple more of these just at your own pace. Breathing in as you expand and breathing out. And then come up to standing. Bring your feet hip width apart and just stand for a moment. See how that spine feels. Lengthen up. And then stepping out, let's do a bit of dog wags the tail. So shifting hips side to side. And then just letting that spine wave. Really get that ripple through the spine. Use the ground, so I'm pushing into the ground with my feet. So I'm pushing, if I'm mirroring you, if I drive my left foot into the ground, it drives me to the right side, vice versa. And I'm not doing this, so it's not that movement. That's not a bad movement, but we're doing gliding, hips stay parallel to the ground, and then you can free up the spine. And then slow that down. Usually every day do those 3 movements: spine rotation, extension and flexion, lateral flexion. Go-tos, they're must-dos. Keep that spine strong and healthy and flexible. Everything comes from the spine. I think we forget about that sometimes. A little bit more for the spine. I know a lot of you have enjoyed or commented on how good this little sort of like stretch feels. Popping one hand on your head, and then you're bringing that ear to shoulder. Again, I really emphasize we're not forcing, we're not pulling, we're not trying to stretch, just bringing ear to shoulder. So you can just feel that, encouraging the length there down the side of the neck. Just taking the opposite side, rib cage, and just gently pulling that across. And then from there, you're looking just with the eyes. So I'm not turning my head, I've still got my ear to shoulder, just looking with the eyes in the opposite direction. My glasses are falling off. Looking in the opposite direction. So you get that nice stretch, lengthening of the fascia and the tissues around the eyes. And this apparently is a really good vagus nerve activation, stimulation exercise or movement, because the vagus nerve is the nerve that comes from the cranial nerves, so from the back of the neck through the rib cage, the organs, the diaphragm. It's the key, the main nerve, or lots of nerves that send that signal of safety to the brain, that puts you into that parasympathetic state, rest and recovery. And then balancing back on top of the head, on top of the spine. Swap sides, hand on the head. So ear to shoulder, and then opposite side, gently pull across. And again, without moving the head, keeping that ear to shoulder, just looking. Breathing, make sure you keep breathing. And then balancing back, head on top of the spine. Just have a little shake. Give yourself another little bit of rotation after you've done that. It's quite nice. And then a little bit of dog wags the tail again. Really freeing up the spine. And a little bit of flexion, extension. This is like that morning, wake up in the morning, lovely day, look out the window, it's pouring with rain. And then have a little bit of a shake out. Let's do a little bit of balance. Keith we were chatting about hamstrings, and quite often when we get tight in certain muscles, we tend to think we want to just be stretching them. But actually, when we get tight in certain muscles, you don't just want to be stretching them. You actually want to strengthen muscles as well, or strengthen movement patterns that are sort of like those particular muscles are engaged in. This is a good one, again, for legs and hamstrings and hips. And we've done it many times before. It's flying, because we're going to do some little bit of balancing. So let's just start off with that connection to the ground and really feel, just have a little move around to make sure that you're balanced evenly. Again, make sure you're safe to do this. So we don't want anybody falling over or wobbling over or anything. Just start off with arms. So breathing in and then breathing out. Just do that a few times. Let's get the breath flowing, the movement flowing with the breath. And then we'll do one more. After this next one, I'm going to mirror you. We're going to make the left leg the support leg, and you're just going to peel that heel of the right leg. And what I want you to visualize, then come back to the center, we'll swap sides. What I want you to visualize, so it's right leg, so it's really grounding that right leg, heel into the ground. So if you just think of the basic Qigong earth and sky, you're connecting to the earth, you're lifting and connecting to the sky. So you're just gently shifting side to side, balance, stabilize, heal. And then if and only if you feel comfortable with this, you can either stay like this, or if you want to just raise that opposite knee. And then slowly down. If it's a struggle, just stay peeling the heel. I want you to keep that flow. I want to keep the flow of movement, the flow of breath. It's not about trying to balance. So really have in mind when you're strong down that side that you're grounding yourself, and then you're lifting and lengthening through the spine. Nice and slow. Slow down as well, as in go down, as in putting your foot down, not as in slow down. So slow downward movement is what I was trying to say there. So it's like you're stepping, is that water cold? You're just going to ball of the foot roll onto the heel of the foot. Strong support leg. Let's do one more each side. And take a rest. Good, excellent. Have a little bit of a shakeout. Just need to check my clock because I can't see the time. I can see the time now. Let us now go slightly wider in the hips. Let's just do some big hip circles. So this is another good one for hips, hamstrings, and if you go a little bit wider, you'll feel it as you circle around there. Bringing the hips forwards. Yeah, you can put your hands on your hips if you want to. You can rest on your thighs. And again, slowly does it. Really ground yourself with that connection with the foot. Again, we're going nice and slow, and then we can change directions if you haven't already done so. And it suddenly might feel, well, that feels a bit weird going that way around. If it feels different, or if you feel any sticky parts, see if you can just ease your way through those sticky bits. Let's do a couple more. And take a rest. Give your legs a little bit of a shake out. And then come shoulder width apart. Let's do some tigers. So engaging, remember this, get that, the fingers, get the tiger claws. So that starts to engage all the back, nice strong back. And then just lowering. Just make sure you get the feet positioned. So you want to go wide, a little bit wider apart. So your shoulder width apart. Again, this is not forcing anything. Just go to a comfortable depth. Keep facing forwards. Remember the little test is always, can I look in that direction or that direction? If I'm like this, I'm twisting. I want to be facing. Yeah, I can see if there's any danger over there, any danger over there, any danger over there. And then you can come back up. So strong here, engaged, nice tension, good tension through the fingers, but then you can soften as you come back up. And breathing in and out through the nose. Keep that breath nice and smooth and calm. Let's do 2 more. a rest. Maybe have a little shake out of the legs. And then go back to shoulder width apart. Remember this one where you just do a little step forward. So if I'm showing you from the side, I've only done like 1 foot. I'm not doing a big step forwards. So you've just most probably got that heel is in line with the opposite toe. And then we do the same squat, but you just have a little bit more weight over that front leg. That back leg can lift, the heel can lift a little bit. So it's just a step forwards, and then you can step back, you can step forwards. So again, you're shifting that weight more prominently over that forward leg, but we're not doing a big step. And again with this, just notice if you are more dominant, if you prefer the weight on one side more than the other side, which is generally what you will tend to do. You will have a leg or a side that you go, yeah, I can really stabilize, I'm really supported on that side. So then you can just challenge yourself a little bit and go, well, am I comfortable putting that weight on the other side? And again, just do this very, very gently. It's not about pushing or forcing. And then just take a rest. Just watching a couple of you on Zoom there, I just want to highlight something. Watch that you're not just stepping forwards and going forwards with the knees like that. That's fine, it's not an issue, but I want you to step out a little bit. So you're going, your knee is going in that direction, but you're coming down the center. It gives you a little bit more space. It's not putting as much load on the knee going forward. So you're just stepping out a little bit. It's like you're doing a big walk like this. But again, just watch it, just make sure it feels comfortable. Really don't want to force anything. Just have a go, a couple more each side. Good. And it's only a short step in front, it's not a big step, it's not overreaching. And take a rest, have a little shake out. Let's do a little bit with the shoulders. So bringing your fingers like that into that space. And we're just going to do some nice big circles. Now when you're doing this, I'm not just doing that, I'm using the spine as well. So get that spine working, particularly that upper back. And you can breathe with this. So we can breathe in and we can breathe out. Again, slow, deliberate movements. If you go slow and you're in control, everything's going to be fine. If we're not in control, you're then in a position where you might hurt yourself or injure yourself or pull a muscle or overreach. Let's change direction. And then we'll go slaloming. So with this one, use the hips. So notice I'm rotating, so I'm bringing that hip forwards, shoulder forwards, elbow over. Same thing here, hip forwards, shoulder, elbow. So we're getting that whole spine involved. And the hips. And then lifting the elbow over. And again, you might feel one side. I can definitely feel this side for me just opens up. That's great. This side is a little bit like, oh, it needs a little bit more there with a rib cage. So you can just really focus on where you need to unstick your sticky bits. And then you can go backwards. If you were going forwards, go backwards. If you were going backwards, go forwards. And then slow it down, shake your hands out. Go back to your shoulder width apart, pulling down the heavens in 6 directions. So breathing in, and then we breathe out as we have a little rotate to one side. Then we breathe in, and we breathe out down the center. And repeat to the opposite side, breathing in, just gentle, soft, light breathing in, breathe out. Shouldn't hear any of the breath, breathing in, breathing out. One more to each side. And then interlocking your thumbs, just bringing to rest on the lower dantian, bringing your feet together. Just closing your eyes. And just letting your body rock and sway. Excuse me, and cough. Rock and sway. A little bamboo in the wind. Taking a breath in through the nose, opening your eyes, stepping out, gentle brush down. Good. Set yourselves up for the day. Getting the blood flowing, the energy flowing. Thank you very much for joining. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you spending your time getting yourself warmed up, mobilized and everything. Just want to say I am going to set up another, I haven't done it for a while, an Unlock the Power of Breath session. I know it's been a couple of months actually since we last did one. That's free if you're on the Zoom, if you're on a premium membership, and there'll be a small charge if you just want to jump into that if you're not in the premium membership. But I want anybody, just let me know when is the best time for you. Is a Saturday afternoon a good time, a Saturday morning a good time, or maybe an evening? So if anybody's just got any thoughts on that and said this is the best time, just throw that, just send me a message on that, and then we can get that set up in the next few weeks or so, because I do realise we need to be doing one pretty soon. Thanks for joining. Have a great rest of the day, and I'll catch you on Monday for more focus on the breath. Take care. Bye. 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 Bye.